Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It is time for Taroscopes. This will be the Taroscopes for the sign of Cancer for the month of February 2024. We're going to look at the astrology first, and then we'll move into the tarot. If you are not interested in the astrology, you can skip forward to the tarot. I will timestamp this. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we're looking at the sign of Cancer. Cancer, of course, is a cardinal water sign. Cardinal means that it initiates, and Cancer initiates the family. Cancer initiates the summer in the northern hemisphere and the winter in the southern hemisphere. The mantra for Cancer is I feel, and your ruling planet, of course, is the moon. This is the chart for Cancer for the year 2024. This is where things are sitting, where things are changing and shifting. We'll go over that each time, each month. All right, so we start February with a whole new sensibility, a whole new energy. Part of the reason for that is because on the 20th of January, the sun moved into Aquarius, which it does every year, so that's nothing unusual. But it moved in on the same day that Pluto moved into Aquarius, which I don't know if that's ever happened. We had the sun and Pluto move into Aquarius on the same day. That was after they made a conjunction to each other in the very last moment of Capricorn at 30 degrees of Capricorn. We also had Mercury go direct at the beginning of January, and towards the end, we had Uranus go direct. And because of that, everything in the chart is moving forward. And when that happens, things seem to happen quickly. You can see here that the majority of the energy for the sign of Cancer are located in this quarter of the chart, the right upper corner of the chart here. And this is the area where we come into contact with people outside of ourselves. And so we have the seventh house, which is our relationship house, I and thou. We have the Scorpio house, which is also an I and thou house, but on a more, a deeper level where we share our both our physical bodies and our feelings and our resources. And then we have a lot of energy in the ninth house, which is pretty much how we relate to society in general. Okay, so let's take a look. We'll go the first week on the 2nd of February, which is also the 2-2 portal, which I will be doing on the 2nd of February reading. We have Mercury making a waning sextile to Neptune. Mercury is in Capricorn at this time, and we can see Mercury in Capricorn making this waning sextile to Neptune. Mercury being in your 7th house and Neptune being in your 9th house. This is an opportunity for you to share what you know about things like philosophy, law, truth. Week 2, February 5th, we have Mercury ingress into Aquarius. The first thing to ingress into Aquarius this year was the sun, followed shortly thereafter by Pluto. The next thing to ingress into Aquarius occurs on the 5th of February, and that's Mercury, the planet of the mind. And on the same day, of course, Mercury makes a conjunction to Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius. So this for you, Cancer, is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is a transformational house for you. Now, Pluto is going to be in that 8th house for the next 20 years. So you're going to have plenty of experience with Pluto in Aquarius there. But with Mercury there, we sort of put our minds to things that are very deep, especially concerning the collective, because we're dealing with the sign of Aquarius. On the 7th, Venus, which is in Capricorn, makes a waning trine to Uranus. So here's Venus in your 7th house making a trine to Uranus in this 11th house. Uranus loves being in the 11th house. Venus loves being in the 7th house. This is a really nice energy for you to reach out to friends, to find people of like mind, to work with people of like mind. Perhaps you want to do something together with somebody who's on the same vibrational frequency as you. Maybe you want to teach something together, or do some sort of video together, because this is a really good time to get your understanding and what's important to you out into the world. We also have on the 7th, Mars making a waning sextile to Neptune. Mars here in Capricorn as well, and Neptune up here in the 9th house. This is a progressive sextile, so it moves us in the direction of more humanitarian endeavors. So we have an opportunity, again, to work with others to get things accomplished and get things done for the benefit of all people. On the 8th of February, the Sun makes a last quarter square to Uranus. The Sun and Uranus have a special relationship because the Sun is the ruling planet of Leo and Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. And so when they interact with each other, the issues around the Aquarius-Leo axis come up, and that is the axis of love. And really the question is, can I be myself? Can I be my unique self in situations? This last quarter square is also about a crisis in consciousness or a questioning of authority and a reorientation, going from perhaps taking other people's word on something and going by your own experience. And it really is about your experience. It's not just about what you heard from somebody else, but what has your experience been, and legitimizing to a certain extent that experience. On the 9th of February, we have a new moon at 21 degrees of Aquarius. This is the start of the year of the wood dragon, the wood dragon. The wood dragon, well, first of all, the dragon is the only of the only depiction in Chinese astrology that's a mythological creature, right? The dragon. And it's a very powerful energy. And the wood dragon is about growth and manifestation. So this is a time of great growth for all of us. Now, this is happening in this new moon anyway is happening in your 8th house. So kind of the new moon starts, and this is maybe true for every time the moon moves into, every time we change the new year, the Chinese New Year's, because that always happens on, I believe it's the day after the new moon. So in Aquarius, so that's the normal time for the Chinese New Year to begin. And for you, it's always going to happen in that 8th house where you have Aquarius. But because of the energy of the dragon and the energy of Pluto, I think that this indicates a really big year. And the thing is with the 8th house, it's shared resources. So this is a year where you really don't have to go it alone. Okay. And this new moon can actually help you to make the connections that you need to make so you don't have to do it all by yourself, and you have partners to work with. On the 10th of February, Mercury makes a last quarter square to Jupiter. Mercury at this point is in Aquarius, right? And it makes that square to Jupiter in Taurus, fixed signs. Last quarter squares are crisis in consciousness squares. Mercury and Jupiter deals with our mind and how our mind works. And we might have to give up some ideas that we had because they have proven to not be true for you anymore. And this is a time when you may actually step back and allow yourself to let go and release something around what you believe, um, or what you think you know, or think you knew, actually, in this case. Week 3, we have Mars ingress into Aquarius. So the next planet to ingress into Aquarius is Mars. On the same day, we have Venus making a waning sextile to Neptune. Okay. Um, we'll talk about Mars in Aquarius when we get to the next day, but Venus making a waning sextile to Neptune. Venus is the planet of love. Neptune is the planet or the higher octave of Venus. Love to its highest level, compassion. It's a humanitarian combination. This is a really good time to work in the direction of what is best for everyone concerned. Uh, what is best? This is how to bring healing to society, really. And then on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, yes, here, we have Mars make its conjunction to Pluto. At 1 degree of Aquarius, all the conjunctions of the inner planets, the Sun, um, Mercury, Mars, and then eventually um, Venus, all go into Aquarius and right away come come up to Pluto, making that conjunction to Pluto. The Mars-Pluto synod, which is the amount of time it takes to go from a conjunction of those two planets to the next conjunction, is 2 years. And they have a special relationship because Pluto is considered the higher octave of Mars. Mars is our conscious desires, and Pluto is our unconscious desires. When these two planets come together in the sky, it is the start of a cycle in which the unconscious desires become conscious. Now, that is true at 1 degree of Aquarius, right? Aquarius is about humanitarianism, raising all boats, equality. So these are all the issues that sort of come with technology. Could also be isolationism. It could be groupthink. There's a lot of there. It's not all good news with Aquarius, but we will come to understand the archetype of Aquarius, just like we have come to understand the archetype of Capricorn as Pluto went through Capricorn. The nuances, the depth, the different things that it represented. We'll have that experience as well with Aquarius, but this 1st degree is where the world soul is, right? This Aquarius, Pluto's in Aquarius in the sky, meaning that this is the evolution we're all being asked to move in the direction of. And so this is an opportunity for the world soul to express itself through Mars, but it does take 2 years, and we won't really know what was seeded until about a year from now when they're in opposition. At that time, Mars will be retrograde and will be in Leo, I believe. Yes, Leo. All right. On the 16th of February, Venus ingresses into Mars. On the same day, we have Mercury make a last quarter square to Uranus. Mercury has a special relationship with Uranus because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It's very interesting this month that we have a lot of towards the end of these cycles between these planets that, in the case of Venus and Neptune, right? Venus and Neptune, what were they doing? They're in a sextile to each other. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Pluto and Mars is conjunct each other. Mars is the higher octave, Pluto's the higher octave of Mars. And now we're looking at Mercury squaring Uranus. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. All right, keep getting those backwards. And so it's all of this transpersonal evolutionary energy interacting with our most personal planets, the way we think, the way we love, what we desire, all of those things. And so it's as if the transpersonals are aligning us with what the world needs now is love, understanding, healing, all of that. Okay. Um, and then of course on the next day, what does Venus do but conjunct Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius? Yeah, this 1 degree of Aquarius is the degree getting activated this month, this degree, big time, and the 10th degree of Pisces, which I'll talk about when we get there. Um, along with the degrees of the new moon, 21 of Aquarius, and the full moon, which we're coming to. That's full moon in at 6 degrees of Virgo. But we do have Venus make a conjunction to Pluto. This is the start of their synodic cycle, and that cycle is a year-long cycle. All right. Week 4, we have the Sun ingress into Pisces. That happens on the 18th this year. Interestingly enough, that day vibrates to a 1, so it's the Sun in a new sign, and it's also energetically a 1 vibration, which is about new beginnings, right? So the Sun in Pisces moves out of the air sign of Aquarius into the water sign of Pisces. We become more sensitive when the Sun is in Pisces. We could become more imaginative, more mystical. And depending on where your imagination takes you, it could be good news or bad news, right? So it's important to understand that you're going to be more sensitive when the Sun is in Pisces. Now, for you, the Sun in Pisces moves through your 9th house of what is true, what is just. And so this will be an especially sensitive time, which of course, I don't really have to tell you this, Cancer, because it's always a sensitive time. Uh, you're very in tune with the suffering in the world, and so you need to make sure you give yourself the space for that, and understand that sometimes the things that you're feeling are not coming from you, but are coming from the environment, and you don't even have to be watching it on TV to feel it. So, and of course, Pisces is a water sign like you, so you feel sort of comfortable in that water. So it's real important at this time in February to make sure that you're consistently cleaning out your filters. Um, uh, maybe take hot baths or your showers, or when you're in the shower, in the bath, just let the water sort of run, and in your mind's eye, you can say, I'm releasing any negative energy or any thoughts or anything that no longer serves my wholeness and my healing, and allow the water, the healing waters, to heal you. I think it's true for everybody, but especially for you, Cancer, and for the other water signs as well. Okay, on the 22nd, we have a conjunction between Venus and Mars. This happens every 2 years as well. Last year, actually, we had 2 conjunction. The last time we had a conjunction between Venus and Mars, which wasn't last year, it was 2022. They conjoined in Capricorn, and then they met up with Pluto, and then on the other side of Pluto, they conjoined in Aquarius. So we do have had already a conjunction of Mars and Venus in Aquarius, but it was part of a double conjunction that started the synodic cycle. This last synodic cycle that's coming to an end with this new conjunction, and the conjunction occurs at 7 of Aquarius. Let me see if I have my Sabian symbols here. Hold on, I'll be right back. I want to read the Sabian symbol to you. Actually, I should have it right here, no? Oh, never mind, I don't have to go anywhere. 7 Aquarius. Am I right? Yes, 7 Aquarius. So Venus and Mars are the two planets. Venus, of course, is the feminine, Mars is the masculine. And so the nature of their journey together in their synodic cycle, in the signs that it starts in, and the sign, and then how they proceed around their synodic cycle, very often reflects how we all are relating. All right. Okay, I'm just finding 7 here. I keep passing it up. A child is being born out of an egg. The emergence of new mutations according to the great rhythm of the cosmos. The ancient symbol of the cosmic egg out of which a new universe is born can be interpreted at several levels. Here we see appearance of a new type of human being who was not born from ancestors and who is therefore free from the inertia of mankind's past. Well, that's interesting. He is a new product of evolution, a mutant. He constitutes a fresh projection of the creative spirit that emanates from the cosmic or planetary whole and not from any local culture or racial tradition. And the key word here is emergence of the global man or woman. All right, so a whole new species, guys, and we are also part of that as well. All right, so February 23rd, we have Mercury ingress into Pisces. So the sun moved in first. Now Mercury's there. Mercury is the way you experience the world. It's the way it deals with our nervous system. It deals with how we interface with our world. And with Pisces, of course, all the Pisces characteristics come out. Now Mercury is not particularly, say, strong in Pisces classically, but makes you very psychic, makes you very sensitive, it makes you very imaginative. So all of these sort of sensitivities and imaginations, as I said, can work to your benefit or it can work to your detriment if you choose to go into fear about things. So it's real important to stay out of fear, to stay away from people who fearmonger, and to avoid things that will bring up your fears. Okay, if there's a good reason to be fearful, I'm not telling you not to be afraid. That would be silly. But especially those things you have no control over. What's going on in Gaza, for example, or what's going on in the Ukraine, or what's happening here and what's happening there. If there's something you can do about it, then you do it and then you let it go. But for the most part, holding the space and being your best self and shining your light is the best for what ails the world. Okay. All right. On the 24th of February, we have a full moon at 6 degrees of Virgo. Full moons are points of awareness. The full moon is occurring in your third house of mind. So you'll become aware of what's on your mind. Now, Virgo is a very precise energy, not particularly emotional, which is actually kind of a nice thing for Cancer, because we have a tendency, and I say we because yes, I am a Cancer. Um, we have a tendency to feel everything so deeply that sometimes logic goes out the window. But with the full moon in Virgo, um, we're very astute. Okay, we're very astute. Plus, Virgo is about healing, and so we could become aware of a new healing modality, perhaps that comes to our attention, whether we need it or whether somebody else needs it. Of course, the sun is in the ninth house, so the axis that gets activated with this full moon is the axis of the mind. So we know that the mind is very, very active and the imagination is very, very active this month. It's also a great month to imagine what it is you want to create in your life, to visualize it. Creative visualization is a huge tool for this year of manifestation. Remember, we have moved into an 8 year, and the 8 is about manifestation. It's also karma. It's about what you've done in the past and how it comes back to you. But it's also instant manifestation year. And so we will take note of that. Week 5, we have Mars make a last quarter square to Jupiter. We do have to be careful about this because Mars is energy and Jupiter is expansion, and last quarters are crisis producing. So there could be a crisis that takes a lot of energy or takes a lot of strength. Um, you just make sure you watch yourself, that you don't push yourself or promise too much, or this is where you can overwork, overdo, overpromise, in with the idea that you're being helpful, but you really only should promise what you can deliver. Don't push yourself further than you can, and you do have to be careful you don't push yourself too much. There's a lot of energy this month about you being out, interacting with people. And cancers need their alone time. They need their time to like go back into their little crabby shell and understand what they're feeling and what's going on in their head. So make sure that you give yourself that time to step back, as well as all this activity that's evident in the chart. On the 28th, this is an interesting day because we have the Sun make a superior conjunction to Mercury. The Sun and Mercury conjoin. Superior, why? Because Mercury is not retrograde. Mercury can conjoin the Sun either when it's retrograde, which is called an inferior or interior conjunction, and when Mercury's on the other side of the Sun to the Earth. And so it kind of acts like it's still a conjunction, but for us, it acts a little bit more like an opposition. And so we have an opportunity to get some perspective. This occurs at 10 degrees of Pisces. We also have Mercury conjoin Saturn on that day at 10 degrees of Pisces. And then the last thing to happen is the Sun conjoins Saturn. So we have the Sun, Mercury, then Mercury moves off the Sun. Mercury's moving faster than the Sun. It hits Saturn, conjoins Saturn, then the Sun comes and conjoins Saturn. So this is one of those points of newness and beginnings. Now, the Sun Saturn synod is very important because the Sun is the center of our solar system, and Saturn is the last planet we can see with our naked eye. So it demarcates sort of our three-dimensional reality. And it is a seed planted, right? So that we can manifest. Well, it's occurring at 10 degrees of Pisces. Let's see what 10 degrees of Pisces says. And of course, this is happening in your ninth house, Cancer. So the ninth house is the house of truth. It's the house of your philosophy of life. It's the house of teaching. It's the house of publishing. Perhaps you're publishing something now. Okay, 10 degrees. I don't know if you can hear my bird, but he's squawking down there and the door is sort of ajar, so I apologize. An aviator pursues his journey flying through ground obscuring clouds. Man's ability to develop powers and skills which, by transcending natural limitations, allows him to operate in mental spiritual realms. This is the energy of mastery. So it's important, Cancer. It's important for all of us, but it is important for us to master our physical worlds, our physical world. And this is the start of that. This is the start of that. And it starts with what you believe to be true, ninth house. And then lastly, February 29th, which is the leap year, is the day of the leap day, I guess. We have Mercury making a waning sextile to Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter now, instead of being at odds with each other, because back on, let's see, what day was it? When would they square each other? Or were they? They were, right? Oh, goodness, I don't see it here. Oh yeah. So on the 10th, they were square each other, right? That was the day after the new moon. So things were like your Jupiter is your intuitive mind. and Mercury is your logical mind, and they're sort of like this, right? They're not quite jiving, creating a crisis. And the actions taken because of that crisis and what you've let go of and what you've dealt with, now we have those two planets in a sextile to each other, and it's a 300-degree sextile. It has that energy of Aquarius, and so this is a really good time to move in the direction of humanitarian endeavor and the like. Okay. It's also a great time to make friends. This is a really good time, February, to make connections, make friends, talk to people who vibrate like you, and see what you can do together. All right. All right. Excellent. So I did pull a rune card for Cancer before I started. And the rune card I selected was Berkana. Berkana. And Berkana is about growth. We can see here this green woman feeding her baby. There are birch trees in the back. In fact, Berkana means birch. Birch is the first tree that you see the blossoms. I mean, the ends when they swell up, right? And they're red. So it's a white tree with the tips are red, and it's symbolic of life, the lifeblood and growth and the coming spring. And of course, as February begins, we're in the depths of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. You can see in the background that there's an old woman, and this is symbolic of the cycle of life from birth. So we have the baby, the mother, and the crone. So we have the triple goddess in this picture, reminding us of the cyclicity of growth. And so February is going to be a time for you to grow, a time for you to grow. And I also picked a crystal ally card, and it's crystals, right? All the cards have crystals on them. So this may be a crystal that you can work with this month. And I picked aquamarine. And aquamarine is about releasing. It is associated with water. So it's about releasing any feelings, any resentments, anything like that. It's time to let go of all of that because it is time to let go of the past and grow a new future. All right, so those are the two cards I selected. All the signs are going to have, I'm going to pick a rune card, and I'm going to pick a crystal ally card. Okay, okay, here we go. I actually have my little Cancer picture up here, and with a candle. Okay. All right, let's see what the cards have to say. I'm using the Good Tarot. I think I might have used the Thoth deck last month. I figured, sure, let's use the Good Tarot. It's really exciting. I mean, it feels like a really exciting month. Yeah, I like that. I'm a Cancer, so you may see me on petty boots again. Who knows? Sky's the limit. Okay. All right. Okay, we start with the Four of Fire. The Four of Fire. So this is first of all, it's a four. So fours are stable. And fire is our intuition. It's a very creative time. It's a time of creating things, actually creating things uh, from your imagination, from your artistic ability. Excuse me. Oh, it says entering Boston. it's like a beer mug, but a pint, well used, you can tell, right? But mostly with water. Let's see the crossing card, the Six of Air. This is about moving away from troubled waters. Sort of, this can also be um, as a challenge card, especially in this deck. It seems to me like maybe there are some things that you need to take care of that you're sort of ignoring. So you want to make sure that the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. The eighth house, where a lot of that Aquarius energy is sitting, is the house of taxes. So you do want to make sure that um, that while it's a very creative time for you, that it's balanced with knowing where things are, right? Knowing where things are. Underneath it, we have the Three of Earth, one of my favorite cards in any of the decks. This is about finding the work that feeds your soul. This is about being really good at what you do and really enjoying it. It's also, in this deck, it's not as significant here because there's only one person here in the Three of Earth. But in other decks, there's usually three people. And so it indicates you working with people who are as good at what they do as you are with what you do, right? So it's working together with people who are of a high caliber like yourself in order to build something that will last the test of time and for the benefit of um, people, not just yourself, although you get the benefit from it as well. In the past, we have the World card. So something has just come to an end. Talks about the end of a cycle, but it's also about manifestation. So something has just manifested for you, and now you're sort of moving into that new place. Let's see what's in the sky. We have the King of Fire. This is one of my favorite King of Fires. Um, King of Fire is somebody who comes from their heart. They're very heart-centered, very inspired. Um, they're lit up, as it were. So this could indicate that there's somebody in your life that is like this. This could be you, perhaps, or this could be the potential of you. But this could also be a teacher coming in, somebody who can help you maybe do some things that you're not adept at. You can't be good at everything, right? And at so this is the immediate future, or the card for this month for you. And we have the Ten of Air. This is the Ten of Swords, the nicest Ten of Swords you'll ever see. But it is about things sort of blowing away, dusting away. And so I think this month for you would be well spent letting go. Remember, we got the release card from we got Aquamarine, right? So we got that hint that there are things that you need to let go of, right? Release. And so it's not just about new growth, but it's also it's a combination this month for you, for letting go and, just could get into that closet, right? Get into that room that's just been sitting there and things have been the dust has been gathering, right? You want to sweep out the energy, sweep out the energy. Sort of like spring cleaning, only sooner than spring. How it's seen from the outside, you're seen as somebody who is very intuitive, very psychic, very tapped in, as it were, very knowledgeable. Big brain here. See the big brain. Your domestic situation is the Page of Fire. You can expect a message coming to you. A message. It's a message from Spirit. It could even be a young person coming into your life this month. Sorry. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. But they will be important for you. Your hopes and fears, the Sun. You hope for full illumination. You're afraid people are going to see you for your magnificence. That's scary because cancers tend to feel responsible, and so it's like you want to be seen, you want to be respected, you want to be appreciated, but sometimes it's a little bit too much exposure for the cancer. And at the end, the outcome, we have the Seven of Earth. This means this is a card of slow, steady progress, but mostly patience. Be patient, be patient, be patient. The resources are still growing. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. We get the Queen of Water, which of course is very much a Cancer card, and the Magician, and the Magician. Um, so this really is about trusting your feelings and then taking the actions and be having focused intention. Focused intention. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the Four of Earth, that's stable foundations. That's a nice one. The Two of Fire, shining your light. And the Hermit, reminding us that sometimes you need time to yourself. Make sure you take it. Make sure you take it. It helps you understand what's going on. And it looks like there's a lot going on this month. So I hope you find this helpful. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you can like this video, if you want to share this video with another Cancer, it would be very greatly appreciated. I am having a beginner's astrology course starting in February. Actually, I have two. They're both beginners. One is on Monday evenings from 7 to 9. It's a 6-week course, 6 consecutive Mondays, beginning, I believe it's the 5th. Hold on. I want to make sure I have the right month. Yes. Beginning the 5th, or if Saturday afternoons are better from noon to 2 p.m., everything's Eastern time. Eastern, that one is beginning on February 3rd. And what was I going to say about that? Yeah, so this is a beginner's class. Even if you're versed in astrology, it's really nice to take a beginner's class again because every teacher teaches it a little bit differently. And I do endeavor to give you the language for astrology, but not have it be so, I guess, overwhelming that your eyes just glaze over, right? Okay. All right. So you can, I'll leave a link below for that. I also do readings, personal readings, combination of astrology, numerology, and Kabbalah. I do hour-long readings and hour-and-a-half long readings. If it's your first time, the hour and a half is a little bit better. It's a little more expensive, not that much more expensive. So if you can see yourself to it, that's preferable, especially for the first time. But if you just want like a year ahead, what's happening, what's coming up, or a situation, an hour is plenty of time. All right, guys, take care. I will see you again in March. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful month. Take care, my fellow crabs. Namaste.